Hey everybody, Quantum here, and in this video I wanted to showcase a practical use of the one-turn win that you can utilize with the Amber Amethyst deck. So shout outs to the guys who discovered this. It's been percolating around, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody like actually explain kind of how the combo works and some of the setups and the considerations that you need to make. So in this video, we're going to attempt to break that down and cover the variables that you need to be aware of if you're going for the strategy. Before I get started, I just want to say that I do think Amber Amethyst is a viable deck. So whether you're playing this deck for the OTK line or just playing it as a general mid-range deck, I think it is a decent deck. And so incorporating the strategy and understanding how it works is just another alternative way that this deck can pivot into a line that can instantly win you the game when maybe the game is getting away from you, your opponent is, getting, everything that they need and setting up their win conditions, and you're like, well, I have this backup win condition. So it is a viable strategy in my opinion, so don't write this off as like a gimmick. It is definitely something that you want to use because these cards are also good kind of in isolation. Like the Monstro is a great card by itself, but being able to utilize it in this combo is also very good. So the first thing you need to consider with this combo is you're going to need at least 8 ink. You're going to need the Donald Duck and a Monstro. Not too hard to accomplish, right? You're just playing the game back and forth. You've got lanterns for kind of the amber ramp strategy, and in total you can see here I've got 10 ink. As long as the game hasn't gotten away from you, let's pretend that I'm not at 20 and I'm at 0 here. This setup is totally fine. And all you really need to do, and the main condition for this win, is I need to be able to set up my Monstro and have it live for one turn. So hopefully I'm able to survive and my Monstro along with me, I challenge, I do whatever I need to do, and I pass my turn. My opponent does something, maybe they're going to win next turn, they set up an amazing board, but my Monstro is able to live. And I'm like, that's great. I've already got the Donald Duck in hand. Your other cards don't matter, but you likely do want some other cards and or extra ink, depending on the setup that you have going. Generally, you should hope for having another 3-cost card on board in case you need to double sing, and at least 3 cards in hand, okay? Again, not a necessity because there's a lot of different ways you can facilitate this combo, but this is going to be what I would say is probably the most practical, right? You're not going to have the Alanadale sitting on board, living for multiple turns. You're likely going to need to draw and discard it and then play it off of the combo pieces, right? That's much more practical. So really, you just want to have this Monstro stick for a turn. So we're going to ready up our cards. Let's say we draw for turn and we're going to have 4 cards in hand. Okay, we draw a crap. That's totally fine. So what we're going to do now, we've got these 2 characters on board, but let's pretend that, again, we ideally should only need 1. But with this 12 ink, right, we're going to exert and play out the Donald Duck. And the Donald Duck is, along with the Monstro, the only other piece that you absolutely need for this combo. Again, the other variables will depend on how much ink and or other cards you have on board and in hand. But the Donald Duck states that when you play this character, your other characters gain, exert, and draw a card. So you give that ability to the Monstro. Monstro can now exert itself and draw a card. So you draw a card here, and now we have 4 cards in hand again. Monstro's inherent ability says I can discard a card and ready this character. And these are not once per turn. This isn't like Yu-Gi-Oh, where cards have the once per turn stipulation on them. So I'm going to discard a card. Let's say we discard this Rapunzel and I ready up this Monstro. Well, he still has the ability from the Donald to exert and draw a card. So I'm just going to do that again, and I'm going to do that until I have 0 cards left in my deck. The difference is, as I draw and discard, I'm going to look for combo pieces. The combo pieces that I need are We Know the Way. So as long as you haven't inked or discarded your copies of We Know the Way, you're going to ideally want to look for 2 of this card, okay? And depending on the way that the deck is built, sometimes people play 3, 4, 2. I think you'd at least want to play 2. But again, you want to make sure that you don't ink this. That's why people play 3s, because sometimes if you see it early and you're forced to ink it, like you have 2 more left in the deck. Because I do think you at least want 2. We're going to discard Rabbit, and we're going to continue to draw and discard, right? Until our whole deck is in the discard pile. We have nothing left in the deck. Our Monstro is exerted. Right, we're going to have 4 cards in hand, but the 4 cards we have in hand are going to be, we're going to want them to be at least 2 of the We Know the Way. So we're just going to search our discard and speed past this process because it's should be pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to look for that second copy of We Know the Way here. Okay, so this is kind of what you want to end on. And again, we have nothing left in the deck. So, we discard and we ready up the Monstro. And this is our board state. We've got the 2 We Know the Ways. We've got the Monstro, the Donald on board still, and hopefully some other characters. Now we have an ink for turn, right? They pass back to us. If you have 3 ink, you don't need another character on board that can sing We Know the Way. If you do not have the 3 ink available, you will need another character on board to sing We Know the Way. And this is only required. You only need the 2 We Know the Ways if you do not have an Alanadale on board or have the Alanadale in your hand and can play it out, right? So there's a couple of other conditions here with the Alanadale. If you end up drawing into the Alanadale and you're like, oh, I have 4 ink, I can just play the Alanadale, pay the ink and play it. You can do that too, and then you only need the 1 We Know the Way because you can exert Monstro and sing the We Know the Way for the infinite loop, which we'll cover in just a second. However, it's much more practical that you end up just discarding the Alanadale and you have 2 copies of We Know the Way. Again, depending on how the game state goes and how things happen, you may end up needing to ink both We Know the Ways. Maybe you're playing against discard and they discard your We Know the Ways, and you're like, I have to play for drawing into this Alanadale and playing it on the board, right? A couple of different scenarios that can happen throughout the game, but it's good for you to know what are the setups and how much ink and or characters do I need in order to properly get out this combo. So these are the limitations that you are dealing with, right? So let's say I haven't inked for turn yet and I want to ink this crab, okay? So now I don't need to sing the We Know the Way. I don't need the Iago. I don't need the Peter Pan. I can pay the 3 ink and play We Know the Way and say, I'm going to call Alanadale. I look in my discard, right? My whole deck is in there. I have the Alanadale here. It goes to the top of the deck. I reveal it and I play it for free because it is the name card from what I put back from the discard, right? You read We Know the Way. It says, shuffle chosen card from your discard into your deck, reveal the top and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it has the same name as the chosen card from what you put from your discard into your deck, you may play the revealed card for free, otherwise you put it into your hands. With nothing left in our deck, we know whatever card we put back into the deck is going to be the card that we reveal. Therefore, we end up playing the Alanadale for free, right? Alanadale is a key combo piece because whenever you play a song, you end up gaining 1 lore. So this goes to the discard pile, and now with our final card, the final We Know the Way, we are going to use the Monstro to exert and sing it, calling itself. Say, okay, the card I'm going to choose from my discard is We Know the Way. I end up putting this from the discard onto the top of my deck, revealing the top of my deck, and hey, it's another copy of We Know the Way, so I get to play it for free. This copy of We Know the Way resolves, goes to the discard, I gain a lore from the Alanadale, and this card gets played for free. I'm tapped out on ink, obviously, I have nothing left to sing with, and I'm able to just infinitely play this card, gaining 20 lore off the Alanadale in the process. That is the OTK line. Let me know if this explained it well. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. If there's anything else you would like to point out, please let me know as well. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, Quantum is out.